Hello everyone and welcome to another video on my channel. In this one I'm going to show you the new lap time challenge combo, and the combo I'm going to be showing you today is at Red Bull Ring, and the car we'll be in is the Mazda RX version 2015, the road car version. So as you can see, at the time of recording at 11:40 AM on the Thursday, I've got the world record of a 1:32.290. I think a very solid lap, and I don't think there's much in it for me personally. But anyway, I am 2 times ahead of Kamit and 2 times ahead of Adam Tapai as well, who are both very good in road cars. So that suggests to me that this lap is very good. I would say the target time for this, I reckon someone will get into the 1:32.0 with a perfect lap. So I reckon the gold estimate will be around a 1:34.7. But anyway, let's go to the car settings, and as you can see with the ETO, or ECU sorry, but this car has a lot of power upper end, but it also has pretty high torque. So you want to exit in high gears, but you still want to rev this car out quite a lot. I will be talking to you about how much I'm revving the car on the actual lap. But before I show you my fastest lap attempt, I'd like to say huge thanks for your recent support as always. And if you could, I would greatly appreciate a like and a sub if you find these sort of videos enjoyable and helpful to watch. And of course, if you've got any questions on this combo, I'll answer to the best of my ability in the comments below. But without further ado, let me show you my fastest TT lap I've done just now. Cheers guys, I'll see you after the lap. Hello again guys, so hopefully you just enjoyed the lap I've shown you. Now I'm going to go into how I did my 1:32.290. I'll tell you the keyword first, it's managing oversteer. And when I say managing oversteer, there is 2 types of oversteer this car has. One type of oversteer is, especially in higher speed, when you're braking from high speed corners to mid speed corners, which I'll talk about through some corners. The car likes to oversteer when you downshift a bit aggressively, so I'll talk through how I manage that. And the other type of oversteer this car has is especially out of slow to medium speed corners, where because this car has a lot of torque and power, it tends to wheel spin a lot and oversteer a lot on the exits. So you need to manage that as much as possible, just so that you get better exits and a better line into each corner, so you can maximize the time gained through each corner. But without further ado, one more thing. About the shifting point, I shifted from 3rd to 4th around 111, 112 miles per hour, and from 4th to 5th around 135 or 136 miles per hour. But let's get into the lap. So, first corner. So the grass ends here and the curb starts. This is 150 board. I'm braking directly halfway between the two. So I'm probably braking about any second now. This frame should be this one. Wow, I did brake very late here. There you go. I've started to lift now. So I'd say about 160 meters here. 160, 165 meters. It's no real great braking reference other than to say that I'm braking halfway between where this red curb starts and the 150 marker. That's probably the best way I can describe it. So initially you want to brake on the race on the track. So you don't want your left wheels to start braking on the green part of the track, because that's when the car will not brake in a straight line, since your left tires will be off the track. So there's not as much grip on there, so the car will start to steer to the right, because that's where more of a grip. That's where the tires grip more, so the car will just move a bit to the right, and then you'll just have to readjust the steering while braking. So you want to initially brake on this part of the curb, no more than that though. I'm going to brake in a straight line, but I'm going to veer off a little bit to the left, so that my right tyre is just touching the left side of his red and white curb, just to maximise the angle for the right-hander coming up, because you need to cut this first part of the curb to basically maximise the angle for the corner and get the straightest possible exit out of this corner. As soon as I get towards this 50 marker, and when my right tyre is right on the edge of the track, as you can see here, you don't really want to be more on the left than that, otherwise you'll get invalidated lap time. But as soon as I get to this 50 marker, you'll see I'll start to trail brake and turn into the actual corner. As soon as I release the brakes, you may have noticed the car started to turn more. So you need to find a point where you get to a certain point and you release the brakes to get the car actually turning it in, or just trail brake more. In this corner, you're aiming to be about 64 to 65 miles per hour apex speed. On this lap, I believe I did it 63 miles per hour, but I got on the throttle quite early. So there's a little bit of time in turn one, but it's not a bad turn one either way. As soon as your car starts straightening up, that's when you'll go. That's when you want to go 100% throttle. Decent first turn. I think there's half a tenth to a tenth in it personally, but with how difficult turn one is, I'll take it. This corner coming up, the curb starts here. I'm braking about any second now. There you go. I'm braking just after the grass ends, maybe a half a car length after the grass ends here. You want to be braking a straight line, and again, you don't want your left tire to go on this green part of this curb, because that's when you have less braking performance. It doesn't really matter if you go on the curb or not. I prefer to try not brake on the curb just in general. That's just how I've always driven. But you want to be braking in a straight line initially. As soon as you get about where the tarmac changes here, that's when you want to start to trail brake and turn into the corner. Apex speed here, you want to be about 36, 37, 38 miles per hour, somewhere along those lines. And you want to be on the throttle as early as possible, because this car has a lot of torque. If you're able to manage the early torque very quickly, you'll be able to get on full throttle earlier. So just watch what I do with my throttle here. So at that point, I go about 80% throttle as soon as I start straightening up initially. As soon as I get halfway through the second gear, so at least 5k RPM, that's when you'll see me go to 100% throttle. So basically, as soon as I get to, I want to say 53, 54 miles per hour, that's when I start to go full throttle. The more laps you do, the more you'll know and get better at that. It took me a few laps to get good at that exit, to be honest. This corner coming up, I'm braking about a car length after the grass ends on the left here. So I'm braking about any second right now. Touch after a car length. I'd say about halfway, no, not halfway. I'd say a bit past the car length after the end of this grass. I did brake very on the limit here, but anyway, this corner I take it slightly differently. So initially I'm going to brake in a straight line, but I'm going to take an early apex here. And the reason I want to take the early apex is because the exit's quite wide, so you can get away with picking up the throttle early here. Also, you'll be exiting in this corner in third gear, so you need to be on full throttle earlier. That's why I opt to take an early apex, since in third gear, you don't really get wheel spin, so you can get on the throttle earlier, which is why I like to take an early apex, just to minimise the distance, basically. So, as you can see now, I'm going to be braking 100% as soon as I tap the brakes right now. As soon as I get to this 50 area, maybe slightly past it, I'm still going to be 100% braking, but I'm going to be turning to the right. As soon as I get down to first gear, that's when I'll start to trail brake. For this corner, you want to take about 47 miles per hour apex speed, and you want to be all over this inside curb, even on the green part if you can, without touching the grass. As soon as you get towards the exit of this curb, that's when you'll start to see me go 100% throttle. At this point, I'm about 60% throttle, just to keep it at a decent speed and slowly picking up the speed and keeping it stable at the same time. I have a little bit of wheel spin here, so I probably lost a couple hundredths here, but nothing much. This corner, it's quite an easy reference. There's this 100 marker here that I'm just going past now. I'm braking at this dark line here. In fact, I've already just started braking. That is my braking reference for this corner though. It's when this dark line starts on this green part of this Astro here. So for this corner, I'm initially going to be braking in a straight line. As soon as I get past the 50 marker, I'm going to start turning to the left. I want an early apex here because I want to get onto the inside curve, which helps drag me around the corner. I won't be going on the throttle for a bit. I mean, I will be on the throttle, but I'll only be about 30 to 40% throttle, just to keep it stable and going up the same speed, and slowly picking up the speed and keeping it on the inside curve. That way, as soon as I get towards the exit of the inside curve, not the exit of the inside curve, but as soon as I get off the inside curve, I can pick up the throttle very nicely. So right now I'm starting to turn. You want to lift off the brakes a bit early here, because that's when the car will actually turn. If you carry on just braking during the corner, for me, it just started to understeer and at times oversteer as well. So for this corner, I was aiming to be about 70 miles per hour here. I think, yeah, it was around 70 miles per hour. And again, try hook onto this curb without touching the grass. I very minimally touched the inside grass, which may have cost me a couple hundredths, but nothing major. As soon as you see the inside curve disappears, that's when you want to pick up the throttle more aggressively. You saw the outside track limits. As long as your left wheels is not touching the green part of this track, you're good. This corner, in my opinion, are one of the most difficult corners, and this is when I talked about oversteer while under braking. This corner, if you were to stay in third gear, for me, the car will just oversteer under braking, and you'll just have to counter steer to the right just to catch the slide. So what I did is, as soon as I started to brake, I upshifted to fourth. That's just to keep the car more stable, since the car's not having to put up with as much torque. So the car won't want to oversteer as much. So, but my braking reference for this corner is this second yellow curb on the right here. I brake at the end of that. So right now I'm not braking, but as soon as I go frame by frame, you'll start to see me brake and lift. This next frame should be when I start braking. There you go. So right now, like I said, I use this second yellow curb on the right as my braking reference. I'm going to let it play in full, but basically what I'm aiming to do is, as soon as I've tapped the brakes, I'm going to upshift to fourth, just to minimise the oversteer I get on entry. There's still going to be a little bit of it, but I am trying that. If I were to stay in third gear, I'd get a lot more oversteer and I'll lose a lot of time on entry, since I'd have to counter steer and I'd have to take a very late apex, so I'd be losing a couple attempts on entry. That way, and for that reason, I am upshifting to fourth and taking an early apex. Again, you want to try wide the inside curb, since it helps drag you around the corner a bit. For this corner, I was aiming to be about 75 miles per hour from memory. As soon as you see the left inside curve disappear, that's when you see me go 100% throttle, as you can see now. And you want your left tire to be as close to the right side of this right and red curve as well. At this point, when you start turning to right, be very careful on your steering. If you put any more steering than what I'm showing now, the car will start to oversteer. So put 10% steering in. As soon as you get off this curve with your right tyres, that's when you can put more steering in again. As you can see right here. This corner, another corner where it can oversteer under braking, but I start to brake a car length after the grass ends on the left here. So any second now you'll see me start to brake. Any second, there you go, as you can see. A bit past the car length after the end of the grass. In bumper cam, just judge it as a car length after the grass ends. Because by the time you've gone past it a bit, that'll be a good braking reference for the corner. So more specifically, I'm braking around 120 meters for this corner. So again, I'm going to downshift to fourth quickly, but I'm going to stay in fourth gear for a bit until I get to about 90 miles per hour. When I get to about 90 miles per hour, that's when I'll downshift to third and turn into the corner. That way, I am minimising the oversteer I get on the entry of the corner. That way, I won't have to counter steer while I'm turning in. That way, I can take the normal racing line and carry good to apex speed. This corner, I'm carrying about 83, 84 miles per hour apex speed. And you want your right tyre to get as close to the grass as possible. Even touching the grass isn't too bad here. Because you need to get on the curb here, because it helps drag you around the corner. And you won't understeer too wide and invalidate your lap by extending the track too much. So right now, I've just downshifted to third. be about 8% throttle here, just to pick up the speed nicely. If you were to pick up the throttle any more aggressively, you would get oversteer and potentially run out too wide, or have too much oversteer and not have good exit speed. Extend all the way to outside here, and for this last corner, I am braking on this last. I don't know if it's a shadow. I think it's a shadow or a track line, but either way, I'm braking as the last track line leaves the curb here. That's my braking reference for this last corner. You want to brake in a straight line initially. As soon as you see me downshift to second, that's when I'm going to be turning to the right. The apex speed you want to take for this last corner is 70 miles per hour. You want to touch the small yellow part of this curb, but try not to touch the big yellow curb on the inside. That way, it helps drag you around a bit of the last corner. You're minimizing the distance on top of that as well, and it gives you more room on the exit to play with. That way, you can pick up the throttle earlier and lighten off the steering, or ease off the steering earlier as well, so that you get the best possible exit. For this apex speed in last corner, I'm taking it 69 to 70 miles per hour. And that is a lap guide around this Red Bull Ring by 132.290. But now, let me re-go over this lap. I'm going to try not pause it. I'm going to talk about the rough braking area and rough apex speeds, and yeah. Anyway, first corner coming up. You want to brake about 125 meters. You want to veer off to the left to extend the angle as much as possible. 64 mile an hour apex speed. As soon as the car starts straighten up, that's when you want to pick up the throttle. Trail brake as soon as you get to second gear on that corner. And as soon as you release the brakes, that's when the car will start turning, and you need your right tyre to be on the inside curb. This corner I'm braking just after the grass ends on the left, making a straight line. As soon as I get down to first gear, I'll see tarmac changes. 37 mile an hour apex speed roughly, that's when you want to turn into the corner. Pick up the throttle as soon as you can, go 80% throttle initially, and then as soon as you start to get traction, go 100% throttle. This corner, braking about a car length after the grass ends on the left here. Take an early apex on the exit in third gear. You want to be at about 47 mile an hour apex speed here. Be careful of oversteer, so try not to put too much steering angle on this corner on the exit. This corner I'm braking on the line on the green part of the Astro. Take an early apex, use the curb to help drag you around. 70 mile an hour apex speed around here. Pick up the throttle as soon as the curb ends on the left. Brake on the second yellow curb on the right. Hold shift to fob to minimise oversteer. 75, 76 mile an hour apex speed as soon as the curb ends on the left. That's when you want to pick up 100% throttle. On the right part, you want to go 10% steering, and then as soon as you go up the inside curb, 100% steering. Brake a car length after the end of the grass. 85 mile an hour apex speed, pick up the throttle nicely. Brake it on the last line as it leaves the curb in the last corner. 70 mile an hour apex speed, downshift a second to get the car turning in. Pick the throttle nicely, and that's a 132.290. Very good lap in my opinion, and I reckon a world record will be upon a 0.0, because I do think that's a 10.2 in it for me personally. But I'm really happy with this lap. But without further ado, let me go and show you how to play 2 races to see my replay, how to load a ghost, and how to use the data logger. Cheers guys. Hello again everyone, so let me show you the 2 ways to see the replay I've just shown you guys. So the first way is to go to showcase in the bottom left of this home section, and then you want to go to content search. Make sure you go to replays. And then I'd say the best way to see my replay is just to type my username in. And then it is right here. TT Challenge RX Vision RBR Red Bull Ring. And it will say a 132.290. You can view it here. And you can add it to collection if you may wish as well. Another way to see the replay and how to get to the event is you go to the sport mode in the top right of this home section. As soon as it loads, it will be in the middle of the screen. Yep, there you go, online time trials. And it is the Mazda RX Vision Red Bull Ring, as you can see here. And select the car, make sure it's on sports mediums. If you don't have that tyre, you can buy the racing mediums, sports mediums tyres here, and then equip it here after. But another way to see my replay is to just go to ranking board, go on my name, play replay. To load a ghost model lap, just enter the event. Once it loads in, you're going to want to go to ranking board again, go to my name, go on my name, click on it, press load ghost. Now you've got the ghost for my lab, so you can follow it. In my opinion, I would personally, in ghost settings, have the display loaded ghost on, so that's my ghost, and I'd have the display personal best ghost off. That way you don't get distracted on forming 2 ghosts at the same time. I'd have it personally reset after each sector as well, so I'd have that on, and I'd personally have it 2 or 3 times ahead of you, just so that you can react to my braking, my turning inputs, and my throttle inputs, as close as possible anyway. So that's what I would do. But now let's get into the data logger. So I'm going to put my lap in, and I'll put it towards, I believe Kamit is P2 at the moment, so we'll compare it to Kamit. There we go. Before we play, there we go, it's loaded in. Let me just zoom these in quickly for you guys. So as you can see, Kamit actually started a lap quicker than me. Oh no, he just shifted a bit later than me. So as you can see, for turn 1, I brake a bit later than him, a lot later than him actually, and I take a lot of an earlier apex. I guess I get about the same apex speed, and that just by cutting the first part of this chicane or first corner, I gained a 10th on him here. That's how important it is to cut the first part of this corner here. Second corner, we brake at the same point. Maybe I brake slightly earlier. He takes a wider line. I take a narrower line, but I find that to be better personally. And as you can see, I gained another few hundredths here, 4 hundredths to be exact. So I'm already a 10th and a half ahead of him at this point. This corner, I brake slightly after him. He takes a very wide entry here. I don't like to do that personally. I'm interested to see what exit he gets. Yeah, I lose a bit of time with that oversteer, unfortunately. I lost 100th here. I think he exited in second, it looks like. Here, again, he takes a lot of a rider line here. I like an hour line in general on this corner, which is why I took it. He probably gained 100th here, but just with a natural way of me taking that corner, I take an hour line. I exit in 4th here. Okay, yeah, he just takes it slightly differently than me. I gained maybe 100th here. This corner, again, I brake slightly later than him. I took an earlier apex. Yeah, I definitely gained a half attempt there. And for this corner, lost a little bit of time, it looks like, but I may gain a bit of it back. Yeah, about equal last corner. Maybe I lost 100th there. But that is how to use the data logger. You can see with this line, the blue line, that's how you can tell I broke later, and you can compare the racing line. I'd personally press square, like not square, triangle, so that way you can compare the gaps. So right here, that's with me pressing triangle. You can see how much I gain under braking and how much time I actually gain on them there. You can see that clearly. But without further ado, guys, and obviously you can see the throttle and braking traces with these buttons, etc. But without further ado, guys, I hope you find this video and lap time tutorial enjoyable and helpful. Of course, if you've got any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll answer to the best of my ability. But that is it for this lap time challenge video. I would appreciate a like and a sub on the way out if you appreciate it, or if you enjoyed and found this helpful video helpful, like I already mentioned. And without further ado, I'll see you in my live streams very soon, guys. Cheers and goodbye.